I am excited. I finally got hold of an NHS payslip and I will share it with you today.
UK does not belong to anyone's mother, and no one will bewitch you for coming to UK. A contract is something which is binding. So you really have to be very careful on what you are getting yourself into, such that by the time I finish shift, my glutes will be so painful I can't even sit down because of running up and down the stairs with a toxic attitude. You know, some people will be dealing with their own stresses and traumas, and they bring that to work to take it out on everybody. Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to be talking about a very important topic. We are going to be talking about choosing the best job, the best pay rate, and we are also going to be looking at agency work. Most of the people tend to fear taking agency work, and we've got nurses who have been working in UK for more than 3 years, 5 years, and they've never taken agency work. So today I'm going to be telling you the benefits of taking agency work as well. Getting yourself the best job offer is very important because it actually determines your happiness. Job satisfaction is very important because when you are a nurse, you spend most of the time at work. So today I'm going to be helping you, or I'm going to be giving you tips on how to choose the best job and how to choose the best pay rate. I've realized that people really don't understand what a good pay rate is, because most of the people, if they see a higher pay rate, for example £18 compared to £16, they think that because the job offers £18
You will be destroyed.
People tend to think that, for example, an £18 pay rate is better than a £16 pay rate, yet that is not the case. So today I'm going to be showing you a couple of contracts, and I'll be discussing with you how best to choose a contract which is going to keep you happy and satisfied at your job. Let's get into it.
Alright, they asking for the queen. I'm a bad bitch, she's a savage. Look back while I twerk. No comparison. I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Acting stupid, what was happening? Bitch, what was happening? Bitch.
Today we are going to be talking about securing a job in UK. Now, after passing your CBT and your WhatsApp, the next thing that you need to do is to secure a job. Due to COVID, it seems particularly difficult to get a job these days. So the tendency is people just dive at any opportunity that they get. That shouldn't be the case, guys. Remember, when you are choosing a job, you are going to be signing a contract. And a contract is something which is binding. So you really have to be very careful on what you are getting yourself into. Just don't settle for any job just because it's in the UK. There are a lot of things that you need to put into consideration. I'm going to be discussing a few contracts with you just to show you the things that you need to look out for when you're looking at a contract. First of all, before you secure a job, you need to find out the area where you're going to be working. First and foremost, when they offer you a job, you need to find out how many, for example, if you're going to a care home, how many residents do you have in that particular care home? And after finding out the number, what is the nurse patient ratio? If I'm working on day shift, what is the nurse patient ratio? If I'm working on night shift, what is the nurse patient ratio? Because believe me, I have worked in homes where there are so many residents such that by the time I finish shift, my glutes will be so painful I can't even sit down because of running up and down the stairs. And there was a place where I worked at, I literally finished giving medication at 2 a.m. When you are going to work in a place, what you have to understand is that we are not all the same. So you look at yourself, you know your abilities, you know whether you are a slow person or you are a fast person. So look at those things, put all those things into considerations, because sometimes the nurse patient ratio can be overwhelming for you if you are a slow person. Another thing, you need to consider the pay rate, because in UK the salaries are competitive. When it comes to choosing the pay rate, you have to make sure that your pay rate is competitive. You compare with other, if it's a care home, you compare with other care homes within your area. You also look at the cost of living within that area, because sometimes the pay rate may appear as if it's high, but the area where you are going to be staying does not match the pay rate. For you to get a better understanding of the pay rate, I've got contracts which I'm going to discuss with you, and I will also talk you through the advantages and disadvantages of certain contracts, and also highlight a few things that you need to look at when you are looking at contracts.
So guys, before I show you any contracts for care homes, I'm going to start by showing you a payslip from NHS. I am really excited because countless times have I tried to get information about the pay rate at NHS, but people are always not forthcoming. But fortunately, this time round, a friend of mine recently started to work in the NHS and she was willing to show me her payslip. Thank you so much, my dear friend. So, this is an NHS payslip. People who work in the NHS are contracted 37.5 hours as shown at the top there. So this is an individual who worked at a basic rate with no overtime or extra weekends. So if you work at a basic rate in the NHS, you get paid a basic rate of £2,075 as shown at the top there. So this means that if it's £2,075, if it's a round figure, the pay rate at NHS is £13.80 an hour when you initially start, or we can make it a round figure of £14 an hour. As you can see at the bottom there, the gross pay £20.75 and the net pay was £1,389. So guys, if we are to be honest with each other, £1,389 is very little money. That's why I always emphasize on checking the area where you are going to be working to see if your pay rate can meet the demands of the area. I've inserted slides. For example, this is a 3-bedroom terrace house in London. It's going for £1,650 per month, yet a similar 3-bedroom terraced house in Belfast is going for £550. Another comparison which I made, for example, a 2-bedroom terraced house in London is going for £1,550 per month, and if you compare it with one in Belfast, Northern Ireland, it's going for £425 per month. And we haven't even considered the fact that in London you are to pay the council tax, whereas in Northern Ireland there is no council tax. So guys, it wouldn't be wise for you to pick an NHS job in a place like London because the cost of living is just too high. You can, however, do agency work. If you are on a Tier 2 visa, you can pick an extra job with another employer, an additional 20 hours per week. So to enhance your pay, you can actually pick another job so that you are able to make ends meet. for now, let us discuss a couple of contracts from care homes. We will discuss on agency work later in the video. So I am going to compare two contracts, one with £17.30 per hour pay rate and another one with a £16.50 per hour pay rate. I'll start with the £17.30 per hour, as you can see it there at the top. When you look at this contract, £17.30 is a good pay rate. However, this contract states that it may be occasionally necessary for you to work beyond your normal working hours or to work different hours for which you not expect to be paid overtime. So this is a very big disadvantage, because no matter how many additional shifts you pick, you will not be paid at an overtime rate. Another thing, at the top there it says your salary will be paid on a monthly basis. This is a disadvantage which I will show you when I discuss the next contract. Then it goes on to say your normal hours will be 43 hours per week, which is another disadvantage, because if you're working 43 hours a week, it's basically 4 days a week. And should you wish to do agency work, by law, you are only supposed to work 4 days a week, and some agencies are particular about that. They normally want to take you if you have worked 3 days in that week and then you work for agency on the 4th day. So if you have worked 4 days in a particular week, the agency won't take you because of fear of the law. So going by the law, this contract simply says you cannot take agency work. And to add salt to injury, you are only paid flat rate for overtime. So now looking at this contract, it's a 39-hour contract. Already it's an advantage, because if you are alternating 3 and 4 days, for every 4th day where you are working 3 days, you can actually work for agency. And this contract says wages will be paid at 4 weekly intervals. This is in comparison with the first contract, which says it will be paid monthly. So with contracts which are paid monthly, they usually have a fixed date. For example, maybe at the 28th day of the month they pay you your salary. But for the one with 4 weekly pay dates, it means that instead of having 12 months where you are paid, or 12 pays per year, you actually have 13 pays per year, whereby there's a month where you are going to be paid twice. In addition, this payslip has a premium rate for overtime. It's paid at time and a half, which means that for every extra shift that you take, you are paid at a round figure of £25 an hour. So you can compare the two contracts. Which one do you think is beneficial? The £17.31 or the £16.51? In addition, let's say the £17.31 is in London and the £16.51 is in Northern Ireland. One last thing, guys, you really have to look at your relocation package as well. It has to be a favorable one. If you look at this relocation package above, it states that it will pay for your flights from your country, and they will also pay £400 towards your rent there, and they will also pay in full for your deposit of their house without having to recover that money from your monthly pay. And it also states that it will provide you with 2 weeks of paid stay in a suitable hospitality location close to your home. So this is a very good relocation package, because some of the relocation packets, whatever amount they spend on you, they will claim it all back.
So guys, as you can see, higher pay rate doesn't necessarily mean that the contract is good. It doesn't necessarily mean that the job is good. So really have to be careful when you are choosing a job. You have to look at all those factors so that you choose a job which is going to satisfy you and make you happy. I've noted some people, they talk to you, they seek help, especially during the times when they need CBT. But when they've passed, you only discover that they are now in UK and they are now contacting you, complaining about the work conditions, complaining about the salaries and all that. But why didn't you contact me before you left the country? You see, people tend to think that, oh, if I tell this one, they are going to bewitch me or something like that. Or if I tell this one, they will raise the maples, I don't know what they call it, and I'll not be able to come to UK. UK does not belong to anyone's mother, and no one will bewitch you for coming to UK. So sometimes it's important that you ask people who are already there, guys, I've been offered this contract, what do you think of this contract? Or I've been offered a place in this care home or in this hospital, what do you think of this care home or this hospital? So that when you're making a decision, you make an informed decision and not make a decision that you will later regret. Because remember, I said a contract is binding, and sometimes it's very, very difficult to get out of the contract. And just spending a day in an environment which does not make you happy is distressing. Just a day, it's so distressing. So to avoid making that mistake, ask and we will help you. Me, I'm always willing to help. Ask, I'll help you. Let's talk about agency work. You know, most of the time people don't want to do agency work because they're being misinformed by people who've been living and working in the UK. Always there's a threat that, no, if you do agency work, you will lose your PIN. But that is not the case, guys. The thing is, if you've been working as a nurse, doing agency work, there is nothing which changes, because nursing is still nursing no matter where you go. Whatever principles of drug administration that are in your workplace are the same drug administration principles that you'll find in another care home. So this thing that you will lose your PIN, it really doesn't work. How you care for patients at your permanent place and at an agency, it's all the same. So I'm going to be taking you through the advantages of doing agency work. If you're looking for a change in setting, doing agency work is the best way to go, because some certain work environments are really toxic. Of course, there is no one perfect place, but you discover that at times at work, there are people with a toxic attitude. You know, some people will be dealing with their own stresses and traumas, and they bring that to work to take it out on everybody, making the work environment not pleasurable. So at times, you need that breath of fresh air by doing agency work, because it gives you an opportunity to go to different places. So you can actually go and work in different places and actually take yourself away from all that negative energy. And the advantage of going to different places are change of scenery can be very refreshing. It is good for networking, and it also helps you to gain more experience. Working in variety of settings could improve your skills. At the same time, you can pick up new skills and build on existing ones. The great advantage of doing agency work is that you get paid on a weekly basis. Unlike your salary that you usually get at the end of the month, if you do your agency work, for example, on a Monday, you can get paid on a Friday, which means your pocket is always warm throughout the month. So it simply means that you are never broke. You are never waiting for your salary at the end of the month. Another thing, the shifts are flexible. You choose when you want to work. You can ask, how many patients are there? 15. No, it's too much for me. I can't handle it. Another thing, agencies pay you very good money. You can actually get up to £40 an hour, especially if you work on weekends. Guys, once again, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure that when you are choosing your jobs, you choose wisely, because you are going to be spending a number of years within that company, and you really need to be happy within a company. Kindly like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell, because I have another more exciting video coming up. This one was exciting to me, of course.